Welcome to Unscripted with
Nello.
and Obi. How are you guys? We're excited.
Yes, we are super excited as usual.
As usual, I know. I'm sure you guys always think like, are these people always on 100?
Yeah, but I think like for me, when I first see you, I'm always at 20. She has extra energy that feeds me and then feeds us. And I think that's one thing I really appreciate about our friendship.
Thank you.
I start off, honestly, but am I lying? Am I
No,
capping?
it's not because I get there every month. I always hear, are you drunk? No, I don't drink. How if you don't drink and you're like this? When you drink, what
Would
get?
you be?
I said, I don't know.
Yeah, I always start off at 20. By the time me and Obi are together, and we are power 100. Like, so yeah.
But anyway, yes, guys, welcome. Thank you for your continued
Support
of our podcast.
Please
your
like, share, comment, subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yes.
It's very important for us to be able to grow this YouTube channel, to be able to
Yes.
grow this community, to be able to grow this podcast. We need you guys to subscribe, please. What else can we say? Maybe
Indeed.
sing for them. Subscribe.
You're on your own.
You know, you've got a beautiful voice.
Oh, thank you.
You're super
thank
talented. You know how to sing. So
Ooh.
yeah, you can tell them to
She
subscribe.
come with all the
Hyping.
Yes.
I'm hyping her, getting her ready for this episode because
Yes.
this episode is gonna be juicy.
What are we talking about? Motherhood.
We're talking about motherhood.
Motherhood. Oh my Lord, my God.
I think that is when God created Eve.
we're going back to the beginning.
Yeah, when I was eardropping, God said,
Eavesdropping, you mean?
"Oh, sorry, eavesdropping."
Eavesdropping,
You know, she's my English teacher.
No, I'm not.
When I was eavesdropping, I heard God tell Eve, "Motherhood is going to be one of the toughest assignments, if not the toughest assignment I'm going to give you."
Oh, you think?
Because
So
I think for women,
it's
for myself personally, anyway.
oh my goodness, it's a road that
No
depending-
scorecards.
I think it's a journey that there's no manual for. And when I mean no manual, no matter how you read about it or people tell you, your experiences either from your own mother or maybe any woman in your life that has children, there are similar experiences, but at the end of the day, it's almost like you always have something that is personal.
It's a unique experience.
That's
think.
the word I'm looking for.
And I also think mothering, motherhood is different. Mothering is also unique
Absolutely.
to each individual
to each
child.
Yep.
Mothering is very unique to each person.
there's-
So you can never, again, even from our, some of the conversations we've had about, again, running commentary, it is one of the areas where I don't run any commentary on, like,
I see it as so it's also a very sensitive,
very.
very, very sensitive, Also another area where people come with unsolicited
Do you know?
advice. So for me, if I'm going to say anything about anybody, I want to be sure that me and that person, we have a good relationship that I can, and only, I guess, if I'm asked.
I personally would not even, I tell you, I had a personal experience, right? This was an experience I had many years ago with a
Before
friend.
you go into your experience, let me cut you short there. How was it becoming a mother? Let's start from there first for you.
You see, this is the conversations that never happened. It never really happens, mother to daughter. It wasn't a conversation I had. Well, I have a very peculiar upbringing. So my parents separated when I was young. So I never really had like my mom around all the time. So growing up, my mother was almost like a guest in my life because she wasn't there for my period, my first experience of having a period. She wasn't there for when I had a boyfriend for the first time. She wouldn't be someone I would call and talk to about boys, about my body, about anything. So, for me, it was when I got older, I had to learn how to be a child to my mother. right? So again, getting married, the choice of men that I had in my life before I decided on who I was going to marry wasn't a conversation I had with my mom, right? In fact, funny enough, my auntie, like my mom's sister, was more like a mom to me than my mother was to me, because she is someone that if I had something that I could even like tell her like, oh auntie, look at what I'm going through, what do you think? And she would give me her two pence advice, whatever. So when I first experienced motherhood, I didn't even know. I thought it was something that everybody, you have to be a mother, like it's by force. Literally. I thought that literally you just have to grow up, get married, be a mother. Go out there and multiply. When you're doing your traditional wedding in the Igbo land, they always say, right? Like it's literally.
Sorry guys, by the way, that means you'll have a girl
and a boy.
you'll have a son and you'll have a daughter.
Yeah,
that's what it means.
It's almost like it's not possible, right? So you just get into marriage, and after a few months, people are looking to check. When you do, they'll say, "Oh, have you checked?
Have you checked?
Have you checked?
Womb watchers, they call them."
So I guess I was super excited. Naturally, when I got pregnant, my first child, and the whole experience, my body changing and all that. It was I immersed myself in the experience only because, again, looking at it in the Western world, you had all the beautiful mother baby shops, and you would go in there and you want to just, bask in the experience. So I really took it on. I went to all the shops, I did the photo shoots, I did the whatever thing until the baby comes.
My experience was okay. I think opposite to you, I was should I say, I am blessed to have my mom still in my life, and she's an amazing woman. And I have sisters. I have two sisters before me. As I've mentioned before, we're 6 girls and a boy. And also my sisters, especially my eldest sister, was very accessible for advice, and my mom as well. She used to tell us. I remember when I started my period, I didn't even know. All I know was I was just sitting down there. My stomach was just hurting, and I was just there frowning and crying because I felt nobody was paying attention to me and all of that. And I was sitting carelessly, just legs ajar and everything. And I remember, I think it was my sister that said, why is your underwear dirty or something? I said, oh, dirty. And I went and I said, Then I said, you've started your period. I didn't even, whatever, But then that week, but it's one thing that happening, but also it's not. All I know was, those days they tell you if a man touches you, you get pregnant. That's what we were told, And we I think that week in school, fortunately, we had in biology we did reproduction, and that was like, okay, all right, so this is what's going on, And so I had my mom there too, and my sisters there to talk to if I had any questions and all of that. And it was just that thing of, that female support was there. But in terms of mothering, I think a lot of things I know today about mothering was from my mom, especially the aspect of just being, as much as she was, I think my dad was harder. My mom was tough as well, but she was also the one place you could come and
cuddle.
Yeah, she cared deeply. She loved. My mom my goodness, she would give her life for her children. Now, for me, with my understanding of motherhood, I remember when I got pregnant and all of that, I don't know if I wasn't happy, I wouldn't say I was happy and everything, because circumstances were different, with how I got pregnant and all of that. But I was expectant in terms of, okay, so I'm going to be a mother now. Interestingly, I was asking my husband this this week, this week, I was saying to him, I was like, there's something we've started at home. I said I won't call him babe anymore. I'll call him honey. So when I call him honey, we say shakarin. Shakarin. He's doing that deliberately, like saying shakarin, because usually what he will call me is olori. And olori in Yoruba means queen and whatever. And I said, so I was not saying to him, I said, come, how did you feel? I don't know why. I think we watched something. And I said, how did it feel when we brought our daughter home the first time? It was like, I thought, oh my goodness, I'm not responsible for this human. Mine was, please God, don't let me forget her. Don't let me forget her. Don't let me, honestly, don't let me forget her anywhere. Don't let me forget that I have a child. Because I guess maybe it's the movies where you put your child in car
and
seats.
leave them in the car and then run off.
So I was like, please God, don't let me forget her. Don't let me forget. And I remember the whole process of, the pregnancy and all of that, as opposed to you got immersed in everything.
I was so attached to my first daughter. I wouldn't let anyone take her away from me.
Really?
I was so possessive of that child. Like when the child came home, it was, even for someone to take her to give her a bath, I would say no. It was that, I don't know why. I was really immersed in that experience. I loved the birth. I didn't like. The birth I didn't like, but the process to the birth, minus the actual birthing of the baby, and then the taking home and just having her on my bed and watching her in her cot. I watched too much movies, I think. And then experimenting with all the things I had bought, because I went overboard with the purchases as well. So I had to experiment everything now. All the oil, all the things, all the colors. I was really excited about motherhood.
For me, the experience in terms of, the birthing and everything, my goodness, it wasn't traumatic. It was quick. It was pretty quick.
Wow.
I think I was one of those that prayed for a quick birth, because I didn't know what to expect. I went for antenatal classes and all of that, and I was one of those that asked the midwife taking the classes. I said, so how painful is it? She goes, think of the worst pain you've ever had.
And times it by 1 million.
Times it by 10 is worse than that. And I liked, a lot of people didn't find that funny, but I liked her honesty.
It is one pain that you cannot...
It cannot be described.
You cannot tell someone how painful it is. It's like, babe, go in there. When you come out, just say, thank God I came out.
And everything,
you're good.
So for me, when and again, she when that happened, when that whole experience happened, when people would go, oh, and they bring the child to you and you hold the child. Me, I was like, no. Really? Clean her up. What's up? Clean up.
I did the whole skin to skin. I did the whole cutting of the thing.
That was, in fact, maybe because I was in so much pain, because my husband and my sister were there with me. I was in so much pain.
But the pain evaporates after the baby comes out.
No, the pain goes after you deliver the placenta. Did you take epidural?
No, I didn't.
Okay, I didn't as well, and I wanted to, but by the time they wanted to give it to me, the doctor
had,
oh my goodness, But my sister, I didn't even know, because I think also the baby was distressed.
Oh, okay.
So there were a lot of people, I think probably up to 20 health whatever in the room and everything, just making sure that when she comes out, everything is, because she had, what they call it, she had she had pulled in the womb,
Okay.
And so all of that and all, so it wasn't, but when they now gave her to me, I now looked at her and I went, Jehovah is Lord, I have a child. Then when we brought her home and her father did the whole Lion King thing, the Lion King thing when and just said, Lord,
really?
Lord, we present her to you, she's yours and everything, and all of that. I loved the fact that her name and everything, and she was so, my goodness, she was so clingy.
First children, the first-born experience is usually different from the second-born experience as well. I
have to agree. With
the first children, they cry so well. Maybe not in all cases. Mine cried all the time. She was so needed me every single minute.
Yes, she
followed
cried
me everywhere. She wouldn't stay in nursery.
No, she stayed. She was very, she just wanted to be carried. She wanted to be carried. Thank God for my sister, and my mother-in-law that was around, and she just wanted to carry it. So the thing is, she doesn't see you. I remember when I go and take a bath, I have to put her in like her seat or whatever and pull her to the bathroom so she sees me. She just stayed there, she just wants to see.
It's quite interesting when I see little humans.
She just wants to see. And I know
responsibility of looking after them.
Another thing I did was going to check, when she's sleeping.
If she's alive, right?
I did that. Is she breathing and all of that?
The whole death thing was a real thing.
The journey of from that stage to, and also she didn't eat a lot.
Oh yeah,
and she had eczema.
Yeah, they all do. Black children, Black kids usually are prone to that skin condition in the UK, though. I don't know why.
I used to cry. I would pray. What didn't we try, But she is such a, she has grown now to be, oh my goodness.
So the whole, again, motherhood, again, this is not something that it's not a conversation that even amongst peers is usually had, right? Because again, it's a very sensitive topic. You don't, I remember even when my daughter was young and people would come in and say, oh, why is she? I remember someone saying my daughter had coconut kind of head. I didn't find that funny. And I was like, don't ever speak about my child like that. That was me setting boundaries again.
I'm not going to lie. Somebody said to me, see how they do like monkey. I said, no, we know they use that kind of word for this house. My pikin know they do like monkey. No, compare my pikin with monkey.
Like people just, we honestly, as a community in our culture, we really have very bad.
Yes.
Yes. We have this thing where we feel like we can say anything that we like, which is, fine, but with measure. You have to first of all read the room.
Yep.
Someone who had gone through childbirth, have delivered a child, and you come in and you just have one stupid comment that you must throw in a comment, right? Yeah, someone said my daughter had coconut head, and this person was obviously related to my husband's family, and I just straight off went in, don't you ever address. And then the everyone else said, oh, she was just joking. I'm like, no, we're not joking. I am not joking. No. And here this is, and someone will say to you, oh, you can't even take a joke. No. I'm like, but this is not a joke. I know that obviously she doesn't have coconut hair, but do you have to say that?
Don't speak on my child.
Do you have to say that then?
I am extremely, extremely, extremely protective of my girls.
Most mothers would be.
Whether in school or whether in, I remember I went, and my girls know, they know that if they've been, maybe something has happened in school or whatever, they will just come home and tell me. They will just say to me, Mom, write an email.
Because if you match there, it's going to be different.
Exactly. No, I don't even match there. It's not even me, it's their dad.
Okay.
The minute I get their father involved, just know it's all gloves out and everything. And this part of the world we live in, how it is with school and all of that. So for me, I'm very protective of them. They've learned how to stand up for themselves. They're very, the whole journey of, as we're talking about, motherhood, it changes as they grow.
Yeah.
Now that they're teenagers, one is university, one is doing her A-levels and all of that. Now they're at that age. I remember saying to the one when she was going off to university, I said, now what I'm doing with you now is supervisory parenting.
Yeah. How easy is it now to let off that control? So she's been under your supervision 100, and now she's a big girl now. She, decides when she comes home, she goes to work, she, comes into the house with her own keys. And I'm sure she used to do that before, but as an adult now, she, how has it been for you transiting and now I'm losing my English.
I think the transition has been seamless to a very large extent, and I think it's down to upbringing.
Okay.
It's down to, that is for me speaking, it's down to what you've instilled in them as they've grown, and also it's down to the fact that you have to know that a point comes where you have to literally cut the cord and let them be, navigate life, knowing that God has got them.
Yeah. But personally, I find that a bit, like I question myself, we talk about this sometimes, and sometimes I can be quite hard on myself, I sometimes I'm like, God, why give me this responsibility, and you want to be a perfect mom because, your children are, mothers usually are judged by the behaviors of
especially
others,
mothers.
especially their children.
Especially
If
mothers.
your child does something, we're like, where is the mother? Especially again in our community. So we're judged a lot by, how our children turn up, whether we are fully responsible or partly responsible or whatever. So I do judge myself a lot. It's quite hard for me to actually let them, try to almost kind of micromanage, what's going to happen.
I think
hard. It's been hard for me though.
I think your dad and I had that issue as they began to get to, their early teens and all of that. Who are you going out with? In fact, they use it to make fun of him now. If he wants to go out, they'll be like, Dad, where are you going? Who are you going out with? Okay, show me the route you're going to take. Where's the journey? What time are you coming back? Well, they use it to make fun of him and all of that, because these are the questions we would ask. I remember, let me bring up this one. I remember when they were growing up, they didn't understand why we wouldn't let them go for sleepovers. I still maintain it. I'm not an advocate of sleepovers. I can take you to the person's house. You can go at 9 o'clock in the morning if you want to, and I'm coming to pick you later, but you're not sleeping nowhere. You're coming home. And the reason for me is because I think because of how we live here in this in the Western world, you don't really know. Your friend, your children's friends, their parents, but you don't know them. You know them in passing. Oh, hi, Chinelo's this thing, whoever's, maybe Harry's mom or whatever. But you don't know them that well. And because I don't know them that well, I'm very wary of my child spending, and also probably because of the stories we've heard. I'm very wary of my girl child spending the night somewhere, I don't know. Remember that story that we heard a couple of months back of a group of friends that went to stay with their friend, and the girl's father was drugging them in the whatever. It was one of them that realized, who didn't take a lot of the drink and called for help, and I know those stories are, I won't say they're not
incidents,
but they happen. So we were not into sleepovers and everything. Now they thank me that they didn't do that, because they realize, one, it was for your own good. It's not that we didn't want you not to have friends. Your friends can come over, you can go to their place and everything. Then when it now came to going out, it was just teaching them about the dangers, where if you say you're going to A, go to A. Don't go to B. Don't divert to B.
Keep us informed.
Line of communication, where you're going and everything. Because unfortunately, we live in a wicked world. And yes, I know there are dangers for boys, but there are more dangers for girls, in my own opinion.
I think for obviously the world has really changed a lot. So different from when we were growing up. But I think these kind of feelings are not even when we're growing up. My dad, for example, wouldn't let me go out of the house. So it wasn't something that, we're not used to. But now again, in the UK, for example, security is always an issue in London area, especially. There's always like isolated incidents of harm to young children. Abuse of drugs, this whole social media thing that young people do, and then they carry it into from virtual to reality, and so it's a lot of challenge. But I honestly, I've found motherhood really, really challenging.
You have?
Yes, I have. I honestly, because
I love your, because you see, you voicing that out in itself is just amazing, because that's not what a lot of people would say. That's not what a lot of women would say. Some people go, oh yeah, I love it. If, for example, imagine a lot of women say, oh, my children are my life. And I always say, my children are not my life.
I don't enjoy, I find it really challenging because for me personally, I love to excel in everything I do. And I know that
That's not true.
I don't want to be negative.
And I've told you
And
that.
you've told me that a couple of times, but it's a case of like, scoring yourself against certain things. And you're like, if I were to choose again,
Yeah.
if, I would say no, thank you.
I know who said that.
Yeah, because I just don't like this responsibility weight of another human on me, I'd rather I'm responsible for my own self, and I love my children to death, of course, you know that, but it's just the not knowing the outcome and not being able to control that outcome because they're also their own human.
You make it sound like it's not Chinelo, and I think you're being too hard on yourself, as I've told you in the past. I think you are, honestly, because there's no like I said, there's no manual to it. Obviously, like, you remember we talk about, are there bad friends? We know that they are bad mothers, but it's not something that you're even going to in any way say, oh, do I think I'm a good mother or what? No, I think I personally think I'm an excellent mother. I think,
but I don't think you're going to score yourself. I think the children are going to be the ones
they say you know go score myself. I don't think, I know I am an excellent mother.
Yeah.
Whether they score me zero in your pocket,
I'll have to ask them what kind of mom they think I am.
I've asked mine, and they've said to me,
I've never asked mine.
My girls and I, we always have very, very open conversation. For example, I said to them, I'm your mom. I love you all the time. Doesn't mean I like you all the time. And they're like, yeah, the same as well.
Yeah.
And I said, that's very fine, We have their dad and I have ensured that they're able to literally talk to us, and I love that aspect of it. And they tell me every time, they will say, mom, you and dad, you're not typical African parents and everything, because we wanted that openness.
Yeah.
But that does not mean that you've met them. That does not mean that they are not well grounded. That does not mean that there is no place for discipline. That does not mean that they can do and know. They are very well grounded girls, but we've given them that space where they can be open. We literally talk about everything. I mean, if I tell you some of the things we talk about, you'll be like, really? Yes, we talk about, because I want that openness. I want them not to think that, oh, if I say this, if I do that, but doesn't mean that they don't know boundaries or, and everything. So in fact, I asked them this thing, when we talked about this, and I said, I don't know if maybe if I come to the world again, if there's anything like reincarnation, do I want to have kids again? And one of them said, oh, that's your business. I'll just go elsewhere.
Yeah, no, I don't want to have kids again.
And I remember saying to her, oh, well, you won't be there because it has to take your father and I to get you, that's the kind of open conversations we have. But in the totality of it, I am so grateful that, they say children are a gift from God. The fruit of the womb is his reward. And I'm so grateful that they, as gifts, God saw it fit to say, okay, be custodians of this gift, because for them, oh my goodness, I probably would do it again. But given the choice,
if I went back to my young self, I probably would be one of those that just end up without children. Yeah, I think so. I think that's, because I would always pick the easier life. Yeah, I think motherhood is really.
I really love we're
hard.
having this conversation, but because it's not conversation you will hear.
No,
a typical, because
African
typical Nigerian person saying, because it's like, you don't want children. You don't want children. What that kind of thing. And so I'm really glad we're having this conversation. And I'm really glad that you're being open.
I love my kids.
Obviously.
I'm gonna look after them. But if I was,
Chinelo has a son that I always tease him. I say, you're your mommy's boyfriend. Leave your mommy alone.
Yeah, if I had, But again, like I said from the beginning, it wasn't. It didn't seem like there was that option ever existed. Knowing what I know now and knowing that it was an option that actually existed, but I wasn't.
Is it not because is it because we moved to the West and we realized, you know what, there are people here who don't have children but still live fulfilled lives.
Yeah.
Because
we always tie
it's the stigma back home of.
It's almost like you're a woman's being a woman is like, to show the success of a woman is to show her children or her husband.
Exactly.
And that's the only thing that defines
her
as a person.
Oh.
But there are so many things that can actually define me that is not the children and the husband and the good family
and the society
and all
we grew up in, especially when you get to a certain age. Imagine if you're over 40 and without kids or without children or not married. My goodness,
it's like everything else. You've not achieved anything.
What's wrong with you? It's a what's wrong with you question. It's not a case of, has it ever occurred to you that some of it might
being
she's
who
fulfilled.
She is, exactly.
She's happy in her success. She's happy in herself, and that is not all about. As it really occurred to people that, okay, there are a lot of them out there who really don't want to have children.
Yeah. And even when you associate having children and having family as, so you won't be lonely when you're old. Some people have children and are still lonely. Some people have children and husband and they're lonely.
And
so
they're
loneliness has nothing to do with whether you have a child, a husband.
People have kids. Kids that they
don't even care about them.
They don't even care about them. Don't even see them. You know. So I think it's not the end all or be all.
No, at all. It's just one of those things.
Yeah.
Like, what would I call it? Like, good to have, not a must have, right?
I think it's perspective.
Yeah, it's okay to have. If you have it, then fine. If you don't have it,
it's subjective. It's subjective
to how
each person. So I won't say it's a good to have. I would say, or not good to have. I would say it's subjective, depending on each person. What
their needs
are. And I guess I would say to women out there who are over 40 and don't have kids or are not married or have kids or single mom or whatever your situation is, don't ever do the best you can do, and that's all you can do. And that's why I say, whether my children tell me or not, but I'm grateful they've told me. I believe I'm an excellent mom, and I've told Chinelo herself.
I want to believe I'm an excellent mom, but I think I will let my children score me for that. I don't think I'm going to score myself. Don't. If you ask me, I'll tell you I'm beautiful, I'm excellent, I'm amazing.
Life is hard enough to not now feel like you failed in a particular area, you know. But just look at, what can I do differently if you feel, okay, I'm not getting it as, I'm not doing it as I think I should. What can I do differently? But all in all, motherhood is not for the faint-hearted.
No, it's very tough.
It's tough,
and it's a journey as well.
It's a journey.
Because you continue to be a mom even when your children have become adults. You're
never
still
stop being a mom.
You have grandchildren. You're still a mom.
My mom is still.
Exactly.
She's still here. I still go to her. Sometimes I'll go to her and I'll go, "Mommy, hug me," and she'll just say, "Go away, you know, that kind of thing." Exactly. But I'm thankful for it. I'm thankful for my girls. I'm thankful that God chose me to be a vessel to bring them into this world and to mother them, you know. So, and there are a lot of people there that don't even, their biological mothers, they don't know them, and it's I mean, my children will call their auntie Mommy 2.0, you know, and I'm grateful they have that. So don't be too hard on yourself if you're a mother out there, or you know,
if you're like me. Don't be too hard on yourself.
Let's don't keep it on a sad note.
No. Well, again, one of the reasons why we have this
conversation,
kind of honest conversation, unscripted as we call it, is that we are being honest,
vulnerable. Yeah,
and this is what our friendship it's about, and we want to use this medium or this space to be able to allow other people to also have this kind of conversations with their friends and with their besties or whoever, because again, motherhood also requires a lot of support. You know, some days when I feel really down, you know, I call you up, and like I said, when I say to you, I don't think I'm doing it well, she'll be like, don't say that, you're an excellent mother. And I'm like, okay, I'm a fantastic mother. Obi said so yeah. And then I keep going. It's a challenge.
It is. I think the thing is, it says iron sharpens iron, and if there are some things, you know, and I've called you out before, if there's some things you're not doing well and vice versa and everything, it's just we don't know it all.
Please don't call out any mom.
No.
Yeah, don't call out any mom. I was going back to an experience I had. I know we're about to finish up the conversation anyway, but I had made an unsolicited comment to my friend about her girls, right? And it wasn't something, it didn't come from a bad place. It was just a case of, it was to do with, I was kind of comparing the children, you know, the girls, and say, oh, this person is, you know, this one is prettier, kind of. And it was a big cross line for her. You know, even now that I say it, I even cringe. It was hopefully I'm sure it wasn't the first, but it was the last time I made any commentary about, because she was, and she didn't straight away tell me that she was offended, but she told me, she gave it to me later on, and I was like, oh my God, I am so sorry. It wasn't the intention. I didn't say it in a way to undermine the beauty of the other girls.
Chinelo threw in the pretty card.
I know. I don't know. You know, again, it's that whole, you know, feeling entitled. Again, feeling like I could tell my friend anything I like because she's my friend, right? And, you know, maybe if you have that friend that you could, but I would say, please don't run commentary on people's children. Because that really taught me a big lesson. Because, again, it made me, just thinking about it now that I'm older, you know, when you're comparing girls and saying this person is beautiful, what are you then saying about the other person? And then how does that impact on the child's confidence? How does that impact on the relationship the mother has with the child? Again, you don't know the backstory. It could be that she already struggles with some things about that child, and then you come in and you just said that thing. Like, why, Chinelo, did you say? In fact, what she even told me, she actually said to me that, Chinelo, next time before you say something, think about it first and ask yourself, what value has this comment got? What value will this comment I have add to the? And if I can explicitly say, cannot say what value is going to add, then just zip it. Don't say anything, because that person is already thinking about multiple things anyway, right? And I say this to say that eventually, years down the line, we still became very good friends, because I was really happy that she told me straight on, and honestly, I was like, wow, hands down, like, I'm super sorry and all that. And it was only years down the line that when our friendship grew, that she even told me that she actually had, you know, she had queried a few things about the child, you know, because, you know, surrounding the birth of the child and everything. And so, you know, and I was like, oh, wow. And I empathized with, you know, she was already struggling. And then added that comment that would, you just understand, like, so don't give any commentary. The pikin is not your pikin. Mind your own. Do you understand? Look after your own. And again, going back to Nigerian parents and stuff, you know, again, women are, you know, criticized, chastised about, grace. You don't know how to bring up your child. Your child didn't go to school. Your child didn't do this one. Look at your child. Your child is Guinea. Shebi is my child. Leave my pikin. I beg. I know I have to come down to this level because it's a thing that goes on and women experience it.
I know.
Some women are able to push back, and some women are just not able to, and they just sit down and allow people to stample upon them. Again, when I speak about this, and I get very passionate.
You do. You're going to,
because I have the experience. You know, I've experienced some of these things, and again, when I think
we've
back,
all to some extent. But so, guys, have you experienced as mothers? Tell us your experience. You know. Give us your comments. Let us know what you think. And thank you for this one. Has been really. I didn't expect it. I didn't expect it to be. This is longer than our normal.
Yeah, longer than our normal. It's another one of those conversations where we'll have another part.
Share, subscribe, and email us. And also, if you want to come and join us here in the studio and be part of our podcast, please let us know.
Yes,
thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and we'll see you guys in our next episode.
Yes, remember, what should they do? It's a new year. Take action.
Take action.
Take
remember,
care.
take action. Bye, guys.